the end of 2021, we've paved the road to 2022's G20 Presidency, promoting Recover Together, Recover Stronger as its main theme. The first Finance and Central Bank Deputies meeting in the Indonesian presidency has established 6 priority agendas in the finance track that will be discussed throughout 2022. After setting it in motion, the G20 has completed various finance track meetings, both in the working group and high level. Held in Jakarta, the second Finance and Central Bank Deputies meeting, as well as the first Finance Ministers and Central Bank Governors meeting, was completed in February 2022. But the work isn't done yet. We still have the rest of the year to discuss all of the agendas in the Indonesian G20 presidency. One of the most crucial agenda is exit strategy to support recovery. COVID-19 has led to a severe global recession. In response, countries have taken unprecedented fiscal and monetary policies to protect the economy. These policies, along with the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines, has brought positive outcomes. Economic activities had begun to resume. Nevertheless, recovery is not one size fits all. Advanced economies are recovering much faster than their emerging markets counterpart, while low-income countries are lagging. The different timings of exit policies can potentially bring negative spillover effects for countries. To mitigate these risks, a well-planned, well-calibrated, and well-communicated exit policy is needed. Under Indonesia's presidency, the G20 countries and invitees will work together to create policy setting for a smooth exit strategy. For it is our duty to ensure that emerging from this pandemic, no one gets left behind. Recover together, recover stronger.
Two years ago, life, as we knew it, was shattered. For the past 2 years, we readjust our definition of normal. We've experienced the worst moments in modern civilization. We've witnessed the best of people and humanity. And all that we've gone through together. COVID-19 has taken more than 5 million lives worldwide, with more and more variants appearing, each posing a new threat to humankind. Global growth declined sharply during the first year of the pandemic, worse than any previous crisis. Millions lost their jobs and closed their businesses. Everyone was impacted. Nevertheless, strict health protocols along with the new COVID-19 vaccines has renewed our hope. Now, more than 10 billion people around the globe are already vaccinated, including children. While not remotely enough, this number is a start, and the number keeps growing. Slowly but surely, the world economy is recovering. Countries open their borders, businesses are revived, and kids are elated to go back to school. The G20 has played major roles in the recovery, bringing forth initiatives such as the Debt Service Suspension Initiative from May 2020 until December 2021, liquidity injection of more than $5 trillion to fight the destructive effects of the pandemic, reducing and erasing tax and tariff on vaccines, hand sanitizers, medical equipments, and drugs, investment reforms, and the launch of Joint Finance Health Task Force to respond to future pandemics. Despite these progress, the world recovery remains uneven, with countries emerging from the crisis facing different challenges. Recover together, recover stronger is the theme of the current G20 presidency held by Indonesia. Indonesia's presidency is committed to ensure that coming back from the pandemic crisis, nobody gets left behind. In the finance track, 6 main agendas are set and will be strongly promoted during Indonesia's presidency. Exit strategy to support recovery, addressing scarring effect to secure future growth, payment system in the digital era, sustainable finance, digital financial inclusion, and international taxation. The Indonesian G20 Presidency urges G20 members and invitees to make sure that countries can return to their pre-pandemic glory, that people are given the opportunity to live a decent life, to turn the world economy back to its upward track, and to do it all together. Recover together, recover stronger.
Against the backdrop of the COVID-19 crisis, tackling the economic and financial impact of the pandemic is a matter of utmost concern, particularly for the most vulnerable countries. As the world continues to navigate the exit from the pandemic, the resilience of international financial architecture has been tested. Financial stability risks have been contained so far, reflecting the ongoing monetary and fiscal policy supports that have fueled global rebound. However, the uneven global recovery and the uncertainty surrounding the path of the pandemic could pose risks and exacerbate vulnerabilities to financial stability. Such circumstances could impede economic recovery toward a strong, sustainable, balanced, and inclusive growth. The G20 plays an essential role in maintaining recovery momentum by ensuring global financial stability and safeguarding it against negative spillovers. Throughout the Indonesian presidency, the G20 will advance concerted effort to counter risks and support vulnerable countries, including through maintaining a strong and effective global financial safety net, continuing the work on debt issues, building a better understanding of the analytical framework for a policy mix that can provide guidance in pursuing growth and stability objectives, and exploring more diversified currency in trade and finance to support stability. As the global financial system becomes more interconnected, while the trend of digitalization is accelerating, the Indonesian G20 presidency also needs to progress discussions on central bank digital currency. Indonesia invites members, international organizations, and experts to work hand in hand in achieving a stable and resilient international financial architecture. Recover together, recover stronger.
Whether in our 20s or 60s, we're all babies compared to our planet. The Earth, with its mountains, plains, rivers, and oceans, has been spinning for long before we exist, and hopefully, long after. Unfortunately, there's no guarantee that the Earth will be preserved for the next generation, not at the pace we're currently in. Recent climate-related natural disasters have strengthened the argument that climate change is a critical global concern. Climate change also greatly affects the world's economic and financial stability. The increasing frequency and severity of natural disasters have shown to disrupt economic development and generate large fiscal costs to finance social and physical recovery. If the current battle against COVID-19 has taught us something, it is that in order to come out of crisis, we need to work together. And the climate crisis is no exception. The G20 recognizes the importance of addressing climate issues and has played a significant role in orchestrating various initiatives, which includes creating a roadmap to address climate-related financial risks, to share best practices on the development of environment and climate risk management in the financial sector, to work on climate-related reporting standards, as well as to build a framework for a sustainable economy. However, when it comes to climate change, our work is far from over. Indonesia urges G20 members, invited countries, and international organizations to continue research and efforts to enable countries to transition into low-carbon economy with minimum risk. Because just like how we need to survive COVID-19, the world needs to survive us. Recover together, recover stronger.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr.
How are you, brother?
Raza, how are you? Fine, thank you.
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine.
Alhamdulillah. Maybe we'll start in a couple of minutes. We have to wait for. Uh,
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang terhormat Bapak Arif Hartawan, Kepala Departemen Ekonomi dan Keuangan Syariah Bank Indonesia. Yang terhormat Bapak Tarmizi MA, Direktur Pemberdayaan Zakat dan Wakaf, Direktorat Jenderal Bimbingan Masyarakat Islam, Kementerian Agama Republik Indonesia. Honorable Acting Director Islamic Financial Sector Development Department, Islamic Development Bank, Dr. Muhammad Ali Shati, the Honorable Speaker, Mr. Syed Muhammad Asim Raza, and Mr. Ala Owaidah from Islamic Development Bank, pimpinan dan anggota Badan Wakaf Indonesia, Ketua Forum Wakaf Produktif, Bapak Bobi Manulang, Bapak Ibu pimpinan dan pengurus nazir profesional di Indonesia, serta Bapak Ibu peserta workshop yang berbahagia. Selamat siang waktu Jakarta and good morning in Jeddah. Kami ucapkan selamat datang pada agenda hari ini, Rabu 22 Juni 2022, yaitu Workshop on Opportunities of Productive Awqaf Financing. Agenda ini dilaksanakan sebagai bagian dari side event of G20 Presidency 2022 dan Road to 9th Indonesia Sharia Economic Festival 2022. Workshop ini terselenggara sebagai bentuk kolaborasi antara Bank Indonesia dan Awqaf Properties Investment Fund atau APIF Islamic Development Bank. Agenda kita hari ini bertujuan untuk memberikan gambaran dan pengetahuan terkait skema penyaluran dana wakaf oleh APIF, serta melakukan pemetaan awal calon mitra program APIF. Bapak Ibu peserta, memulai agenda kita hari ini adalah pembacaan ayat suci Al-Quran, Surat Al-Baqarah ayat 254 oleh Ustadz Sunarto. Kepada beliau, dipersilahkan.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة والكافرون هم الظالمون صدق الله العظيم.
Terima kasih kepada Ustadz Sunarto atas pembacaan ayat suci Al-Quran. Melanjutkan agenda hari ini adalah sambutan yang akan disampaikan oleh Bapak Tarmizi MA, Direktur Pemberdayaan Zakat dan Wakaf, Direktorat Jenderal Bimbingan Masyarakat Islam, Kementerian Agama Republik Indonesia. Kepada Bapak Tarmizi, waktu dan layar kami persilahkan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Halo? Dengar Mbak ya?
Terdengar Bapak?
Alhamdulillahilladzi hadana li hadza wa ma kunna linahtadiya laula hadanallah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu la nabiyya ba'da. Allahumma shalli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala amma ba'd. Yang saya hormati Bapak pimpinan dari Bank BI, yang saya hormati yang mewakili dari Badan Wakaf Indonesia, yang saya hormati para pakar-pakar perwakafan di Indonesia yang hadir pada kesempatan ini. Saya hormati, kalau tidak salah saya ada 50 nazir ya yang diundang pada kesempatan ini. Kemudian kalau salah juga ada dari IsDB ya yang ada di dalam kawan ini. Pertama mari kita bersyukur kepada Allah SWT bersama kunjungan alam bersama Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala sayyidina Muhammad. Saya sangat mengucapkan terima kasih kepada BI yang sangat agresif, yang sangat antusias di dalam pengembangan perwakapan yang ada di negara kita ini. Tentunya dengan agresifnya BI untuk melakukan beberapa kegiatan dalam pengembangan perwakapan ini salah satu sangat mendukung kami sebagai orang yang diamanahkan oleh negara di dalam pengembangan maupun penanganan persoalan perwakapan yang ada di dalam Indonesia ini. Baik, saya awal ingin menyampaikan data terkaitan dengan masalah perwakapan yang ada di Indonesia ini. Walaupun barangkali Bapak dan Ibu sudah pernah mendengar, mungkin sudah punya data, ini yang tercatat di sistem aplikasi siwa yang ada di Direktorat Pemberdayaan Zakat dan Wakaf di Kementerian Agama. Tanah wakaf kita ini berjumlah yang data kami 56.396,80 hektar. Jadi dalam beberapa tahun ini sangat pesat perkembangannya. Sekarang sudah mencapai 56.000 hektar. Kemudian tersebar di 432.059 lokasi. Jadi lebih dari 400.000 tersebarnya tanah wakaf yang ada di Indonesia ini, mulai yang dari 2 meter, 3 meter sampai ribuan meter. Ya. Dari 56.000 tersebar 400.000 lokasi yang ada dari Sabang sampai Merauke. Nah, kemudian yang mungkin belum begitu menggembirakan bagi kita lihat pemanfaatan tanah wakaf yang ada di Indonesia ini, baik itu untuk sosial, pendidikan, ekonomi, produktif. Nah, potensialnya untuk sekolah itu berjumlah 10,75%. Ada 46.000 lokasi tanah wakaf ini diperuntukkan untuk sekolah. Kemudian ada 4,2%, 0,02%, 17.000 lokasi itu dipergunakan untuk pondok pesantren. Nah, kemudian 43,69%, 188.339 lokasi digunakan untuk rumah ibadah, untuk masjid. Kemudian 27,92%, 120 lokasi itu digunakan untuk musola. Kemudian 4,36%, 18.000 lokasi itu digunakan untuk pemakaman. Nah, sedangkan untuk sosial ekonomi itu baru 9,26%, sekitar 39.000 lokasi. Jadi untuk pengembangan ekonomi produktif, tanah wakaf kita ini masih kategori kecil dari jumlah tanah wakaf yang ada di Indonesia ini. Maka saya sering menghimbau pada kita semua, terutama pada Nazir, bagaimana tanah wakaf kita ini menjadi tanah produktif dan rangka untuk pengembangan sosial ekonomi yang ada di dalam negara kita ini. Makanya saya sering berharap semua pihak untuk melakukan kerjasama di dalam pengembangan tanah wakaf ini tidak menjadi bahan terlantar, tapi bisa diproduktifkan untuk perbaikan ekonomi yang ada di negara kita ini. Nah, kemudian dan catatan kami, perkembangan tanah wakaf ini, terutama tanah wakaf ini cukup berkembang. Setiap tahun ini terus meningkat perkembangannya. Artinya setiap tahun itu luar biasa orang untuk berwakaf. Cuma untuk pengembang pemanfaatannya, yang itu yang harus kita bahas, harus kita kembangkan secara bersama. Nah, kemudian untuk pengamanan aset wakaf itu paling tidak ada 3 yang saya sampaikan, yaitu akta ikrar wakaf, kemudian sertifikat wakaf yang dari BPN, kemudian ya pelang-pelang papanisasi tanah wakaf. Ini juga sangat saya kejar ini untuk pengamanan aset wakaf yang ada di Indonesia ini. Nah, kemudian regulasi saya pikir cukup bagus, walaupun kami segera akan mengusulkan perbaikan undang-undang perwakafan yang ada di Indonesia ini, termasuk Undang-Undang Nomor 1 Tahun 2004, Pasal 4 dan Pasal 43, yaitu pengelolaan dan pengembangan harta benda wakaf dilakukan secara produktif. Nah, ini yang kemudian Undang-Undang Nomor 1 Tahun 2004 tentang wakaf, Pasal 43, pengelolaan dan pengembangan harta benda wakaf dilakukan secara produktif, antara lain dengan cara pengumpulan investasi, penanaman modal produktif, kemitraan, perdagangan, agrobisnis, pertambangan, perindustrian, pengembangan teknologi, pembangunan gedung, apartemen, rumah susun dan sebagainya. Ini sudah ada diatur di dalam Undang Nomor 1 Tahun 2004, yaitu artinya boleh dikembangkan tanah wakaf ini dalam rangka untuk pengembangan wakaf produktif yang ada di Indonesia ini. Ini 19 item bentuk pengolahan secara produktif tanah wakaf kita ini. Nah kalau kuburan mungkin tidak produktif ya, atau kalau mungkin sekolah apa itu masih ada produktif, tapi bukan produktif untuk pengembangan ekonomi. Yang maksud saya tadi adalah produktif dalam rangka untuk pengembangan ekonomi. Nah, kemudian terdapat 19 item untuk pengolahan secara produktif, yaitu melalui pengumpulan, investasi, mana-mana yang saya sampaikan tadi. Tinggal kita pilih yang mana. Ya, tentu saya ingin mungkin kemitraan ini, kerjasama mungkin harus kita berikan pemahaman kepada para nazir. Nah, terus terang saya sering nanya kenapa tidak dikembangkan. Nazir apa? Bukan tak mau mengembangkan Pak, kata Nazir. Tak ada modal Pak, karena itu masalahnya. Jadi permodalan ini menjadi satu hal yang sangat krusial dalam pengembangan wakaf produktif ini. Nah, saya tunjuk Nazir Pak, mau saya ini bagus Pak untuk bangun kayak Indomaret Pak, saya cuma nggak ada modalnya. Itu jadi persoalan. Maka kemitraan mungkin harus kita kembangkan ke depan untuk mengembangkan tanah wakaf ini menjadi wakaf produktif. Nah, salah satu program yang saya lakukan di Tanah Zakat Wakaf, yaitu kaitan tanah wakaf ini adalah inkubasi wakaf produktif. Itu sudah ada beberapa lokasi yang kita kembangkan kerjasama dengan Nazir, dan kita juga beri bantuan modal. Nah, mungkin Bapak dan Ibu pernah baca terakhir kemarin yang program inkubasi terakhir, yaitu kami meresmikan SPBU di Sleman, Jogja. Tanah wakaf pinggir jalan kita bangun SPBU, yang itu kita bantu support anggarannya. Kemudian di belakang SPBU itu dibangun rumah taktis, yang anak-anak taktis itu dibiayai dari keuntungan SPBU itu. Ini salah satu contohnya. Dan ada yang lain-lain juga sudah kita lakukan. Jadi kami terus melakukan pengembangan inkubasi tanah produktif, wakaf produktif, sehingga tanah wakaf ini tidak terlantar begitu saja, sehingga bisa dikembangkan dalam rangka untuk perbaikan ekonomi umat. Nah, di Bogor itu ada hutan wakaf yang kita ganti dengan tanaman mangga, rambutan, durian, dan ternak madu lebah. Itu salah satu contohnya itu ya. Sehingga hutan pun bisa kita produktifkan kalau kita mau memproduksi itu. Cuma itu tadi persoalan yang paling besar itu adalah kemampuan Nazir, kemudian juga kaitan masalah permodalan yang ada di Nazir itu. Dan yang satu hal lagi, Bapak Ibu mungkin kita bisa bekerja sama dengan lembaga-lembaga zakat, karena zakat itu juga ada dana zakat, infak, dan sedekah. Mungkin bisa kerjasama antara Nazir dan lembaga zakat yang ada ini. Nah, 5 langkah strategis untuk optimalisasi tantangan lintas negara. Mungkin kita bisa bekerja sama dengan lintas negara, mungkin bisa ya. Kalau kita ada modal, mungkin ada investor dari luar negara, mungkin bisa kita lakukan untuk pengembangan menjadi produktif. Nah, kemudian kami saya gencar sekarang Pak Nusrati melakukan literasi wakaf termasuk juga mengarahkan kepada kompetensi nazir. Nah, untuk kita tahu hari ini, Bapak Ibu, kita sudah menerbitkan 37 kompetensi nazir yang sudah disahkan oleh Kementerian Tenaga Kerja. Jadi nazir kita didik sesuai dengan kompetensi sehingga dia punya kompetensi tentang sebagai seorang nazir ini. Ya, jadi mungkin bisa berbagai macam kerjasama yang kita lakukan dengan kerjasama dengan pihak luar negeri. Nah, yang penting nazirnya mau, nah, itu. Tapi kalau kita kembangkan ini nazir tak mau, ya tidak bisa itu kita kembangkan. Mendorong seluruh holder, wakaf dan nazir untuk memiliki banyak katalog proyek wakaf maupun portofolio wakaf berstandar internasional sehingga memudahkan Islam mencari calon wakil. Jadi saya ingin kalau kerjasama luar negeri itu proposal apa segalanya itu programnya dibuat dulu oleh nazirnya. Nah, kalau kita yang buat nanti berarti itu kemauan kita bukan kemauan nazir. Tapi nazir membuatnya, baru kita memformatnya, membersih, membagusnya kita. Itu yang baru kita lakukan. Tapi kalau dari kita awalnya semuanya, saya takut nanti kita seolah memaksa nazirnya. Nah, saya sering sampai ke orang Indonesia ini kalau kita beri bantuan, kalau tak dibimbing, kalau tidak dibina, ya lain bantuannya itu. Suruh beli perahu nanti dibeli televisi itu bantuan itu. Makanya harus dibina. Jadi program inkubasi itu kita bina, Pak. Kita bimbing sampai betul-betul berhasil, ya. Termasuk program saya Kampung Zakat, KUA jadi percontohan ekonomi umat itu kita bimbing sampai ke teknis, Pak, sampai dia berhasil. Nah, kalau tak bimbing nanti tidak akan ada outputnya dari program yang kita lakukan itu. Nah, jadi kerjasama dan kemitraan nazir, potensi ekonomi tanah wakaf, potensi wakaf uang, belum lagi wakaf uang ya. Kita bicarakan belum lagi wakaf melalui uang, suku dan sebagainya ini bisa. Bahkan saya kemarin punya ide bagaimana dua nazir bekerja sama. Ini nazir punya tanah, tak punya modal. Ini nazir punya uang, yaitu wakaf uang. Bagaimana kerjasama nazir wakaf uang ke MOU dengan nazir wakaf tanah. Dengan dana wakaf uang ini membangun di tanah wakaf itu. Tapi harus buat perjanjian antara dua nazir. Nazir wakaf uang dan nazir wakaf tanah. Ini mungkin bisa kita kembangkan depan. Karena nazir tanah tak punya anggaran, tak punya modal. Sedangkan nazir uang punya modal, cuma tak punya tanah. Tapi gabung keduanya ini. Tapi harus ada MOU yang jelas antara nazir wakaf uang dan nazir wakaf tanah. Itu bisa mengembangkan tanah wakaf yang 400.000 tersebar di negara Indonesia ini. Nah, kemudian Bapak dan Menteri, untuk kemitraan saya terima kasih banget banyak beberapa lembaga yang ikut mengembangkan ini, baik KNKS, ya OJK, Bank BI, Kementerian Keuangan, BWI itu sendiri. Ini barangkali bagaimana kita membuat ya satu kesatuan dan satu langkah dalam pengembangan wakaf produktif ini. Jadi barangkali itu secara singkat saya sampaikan, potensi yang besar ini, saya yakin kalau kita bersama, insya Allah ini bisa dikembangkan menjadi wakaf yang produktif. Kasihan Pak Nuswati, ada tanah wakaf 30 tahun diwakafkan, semak belukar sampai 30 tahun, itu kasihan kita lihat. Ya, saya panggil nazir gimana? Nggak ada modal Pak, katanya. Apa mau dikembangkan? Makanya perlu sekali kita mencari investor atau katakanlah pihak lain untuk bekerja sama dengan nazir, ya harus kita genjot ini secara bersama, baik itu Bank BI, KNKS, baik kami juga utama Kementerian Agama maupun Badan Wakaf Indonesia bersama kita untuk mengembangkan ini. Mudah-mudahan dari workshop kita hari ini ada langkah konkret yang dapat kita simpulkan dan langkah untuk pengembangan wakaf ke depan nanti, termasuk mungkin bantuan-bantuan dari luar negeri, ya. Mohon maaf, ya luar negeri barangkali punya modal, cuma tanah mau dibangun nggak ada, bisa aja seperti itu. Kita ini kan negara sangat luas, ya. Ya tanah punya, wakaf banyak, tapi permodalan kurang. Mungkin itu bisa kita kerjasamakan. Mungkin itu Bapak dan Ibu Saudara sampaikan sore ini. Terima kasih sekali lagi ya Bang BI yang cukup agresif dalam pengembangan wakaf yang ada di Indonesia ini. Mudah-mudahan ini menjadi pahala bagi kita. Saya mau pantun dikit Pak tentang wakaf ini. Ya, patah ranting berderap-derap, pohon jati dibelah-belah. Kalau tuan dan puan menunaikan wakaf, insya Allah harta benda penuh barokah. Enak sungguh buah coklat, coklat didapat dari sahabat. Kalau tuan dan puan menunaikan zakat, insya Allah selamat dunia akhirat.
Amin.
Sudah
amin.
lama tak pulang ke rumah, sampai di rumah badan terjatuh. Mohon maaf silap dan salah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih kepada Bapak Tarmizi atas sambutan yang disampaikan. Selanjutnya, mari kita dengarkan welcoming speech oleh Bapak Arif Hartawan, Head of Sharia Economic and Finance Department Bank Indonesia. Kepada Bapak Arif, waktu dan layar kami persilakan.
Sebelumnya Bu, saya mohon izin, saya paling lama sampai jam 3, saya mau ke bandara. Mau ke Kalbar ke Pontianak, karena besok ada launching kuah sebagai percontohan ekonomi umat. Ya jam 3 saya harus ke bandara deh. Ya Bu, saya kata. Ya.
Baik Bapak, terima kasih Bapak Tarmizi. Selanjutnya, kami persilahkan kepada Bapak Arif untuk menyampaikan welcoming speech. Kepada Bapak Arif, waktu dan layar kami persilahkan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang kami hormati Direktur Jenderal Bimbingan Masyarakat Islam Kementerian Agama Republik Indonesia, yang dalam hal ini diwakili oleh Direktur Pemberdayaan Zakat dan Wakaf Pak Tarmizi. Terima kasih Pak. Pimpinan dan anggota Badan Wakaf Indonesia, Honorable Acting Director Islamic Financial Sector Development Department, Islamic Development Bank, Dr. Muhammad Ali Cati, Ketua Forum Wakaf Produktif, Pak Bobi Manulang, Bapak Ibu pimpinan dan pengurus nazir profesional di Indonesia, dan para hadirin dimanapun berada yang insya Allah dirahmati Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
First of all, please allow me to proceed our welcoming remark in Bahasa, considering most of our participant today is Nazir from Indonesia, who are a member of Indonesia Awqaf Board. Sebagaimana diketahui bersama dalam TOR yang sudah kami sampaikan, bahwa secara umum kegiatan pelatihan atau workshop pada hari ini akan dilangsungkan dalam bahasa Inggris, ya, karena penyelenggaraan kegiatan ini kami Bank Indonesia, Bank Sentral Republik Indonesia bekerja sama dengan Islamic Development Bank yang merupakan lembaga multilateral yang beranggotakan 57 negara. Alhamdulillah ya, kita juga sudah siapkan panitia untuk translasinya dalam bahasa Indonesia, sehingga insya Allah selama kegiatan ini berlangsung, Bapak Ibu tetap dapat mengikutinya dengan baik dan lancar karena ada translasinya dalam bahasa Indonesia. Bapak Ibu hadirin yang dirahmati Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, mari dalam kesempatan ini sama-sama kita terus memanjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, karena atas karunia-Nya kita masih diberikan kesempatan untuk bisa hadir meskipun secara virtual ya, dan bersilaturahmi dalam kondisi sehat walafiat di acara workshop on opportunities of productive Awqaf financing. Tak lupa salawat dan salam semoga senantiasa tercurah kepada junjungan kita Rasulullah Muhammad Shallallahu Alaihi Wasallam beserta keluarga, sahabat, dan kita semua pengikutnya, yang mudah-mudahan dengan kelembutan dan akhlak mulianya menjadi peneduh dan tauladan bagi kita semua. Menjadi kebahagiaan bagi kita bahwa tahun ini BI Bank Indonesia dengan Islamic Development Bank, Kementerian Agama, Badan Wakaf Indonesia, dan stakeholders lainnya, kita bisa bersama-sama bekerja sama untuk menyelenggarakan workshop ini ya. Dan pengertiannya dengan side event dari G20 di mana Indonesia menjadi presidensi di G20 ini. Dan tentunya karena ini bagian dari kegiatan syariah, ekonomi keuangan syariah, ini kami menyebutnya sebagai bagian dari Road to ISEF International Indonesia Sharia Economy Festival yang akan diselenggarakan pada Oktober tahun ini, nanti tanggal 5 sampai 9 ya di Jakarta. Nah, rangkaian kegiatan ini setelah nanti Bapak Ibu mengikuti workshop pada hari ini, tentu harapan kami ya, itu bisa dilanjutkan dengan saling menyampaikan proposal gitu ya, yang tadi sudah disampaikan juga oleh Pak Tarmizi, proposal usulan kegiatan produktif kepada IsDB dalam hal ini APIF ya, sehingga nanti pada waktunya kami berharap setelah direview pada September nanti bisa dicapai kesepakatan antara pihak dan itu bisa kita laporkan pada saat penyelenggaraan ISEF di Oktober nanti. Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, sebagai salah satu agenda di G20 ya, salah satu isunya adalah terkait dengan keuangan inklusi ya. Nah, tentu dengan adanya kegiatan ini, keuangan sosial syariah ya, ada yang komersial, ada yang sosial. Kali ini kita bicara yang sosial. Kita sumbernya dari wakaf ya, itu dapat menjadi alternatif dalam mendorong inklusi keuangan dan bisa mendukung pemulihan ekonomi kita yang saat ini sedang berlangsung gitu ya. Nah, wakaf produktif sebuah skema pengelolaan dana donasi wakaf dengan memberdayakan donasi itu sehingga mampu menghasilkan suatu hasil yang surplus, yang berkelanjutan, dan pada perkembangannya wakaf produktif itu dapat dilakukan melalui wakaf uang ya sebagai salah satu basis dalam membangun perekonomian umat. MUI ya sudah mengeluarkan fatwa tentang hal ini ya, membolehkan wakaf uang pada tahun 2002 yang lalu ya. Wakaf uang adalah wakaf dalam bentuk uang tunai yang termasuk dalam pengertian uang ini adalah surat-surat berharga. Ya, kalau memiliki uang minimal 1 juta saja sudah bisa menjadi wakif atau orang yang berwakaf dan mendapatkan sertifikat wakaf uang. Dengan realisasi sebesar kurang lebih ya datanya yang kami dapat ini 830 miliar berdasarkan data dari Badan Wakaf Indonesia di Februari 2021 dari potensi yang besar sekali ya 180 triliun, maka peluang untuk bisa kita kembangkan terkait dengan wakaf ini masih sangat terbuka luas gitu ya. Di satu sisi kami menghadirkan pada hari ini yang namanya Awqaf Properties Investment Fund atau APIF dari Islamic Development Bank, itu merupakan mitra utama dari penyelenggaraan workshop ini, punya potensi yang sumber dana yang besar ya, yang nantinya oleh Bapak Ibu Nazir dapat dimanfaatkan untuk mendanai berbagai proyek wakaf produktif di Indonesia. Yang tentunya harapannya manfaatnya bisa tidak hanya oleh kalangan umat muslim ya, tapi juga oleh seluruh warga negara Indonesia. Bapak Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia, kami mengucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya atas dukungan dan juga peran serta semua pihak. And in this occasion, I would like to deliver my appreciation and thanks to Islamic Development Banks, Ministry of Religion, Republic of Indonesia, Indonesia Awqaf Board for their support and cooperation, yeah, as well as to the honorable speakers for having their support. So this workshop will be implemented successfully. Semoga pelaksanaan workshop dan workshop on opportunities of productive Awqaf financing ini yang merupakan kolaborasi kita bersama bisa berlangsung dengan baik dan lancar serta memberikan manfaat yang luas bagi Indonesia. Kami percaya bahwa Bapak Ibu Nazir yang terlibat dalam workshop ini merupakan nazir-nazir terbaik yang siap menerima peluang kerjasama pengembangan wakaf dengan IsDB. Oleh karena itu, mohon kesempatan langka ini bisa dimanfaatkan sebaik-baiknya, sehingga pada September nanti kita sudah ada link and match ya antara proyek produktif yang Bapak usulkan dengan pembiayaan atau dana dari APIF nantinya. Selain itu, selepas penyelenggaraan workshop ini, kami mengingatkan bahwa Bapak Ibu Nazir juga dapat berpartisipasi pada pelaksanaan high-level discussion on financial inclusion untuk bersama-sama menyimak bagaimana pengalaman negara-negara lain, lembaga-lembaga pendidikan yang besar-besar seperti Oxford, Harvard, ya, bahkan di Mesir, Kairo itu semua pengembangannya dilakukan dengan dana wakaf ya. Yang insya Allah nanti acara ini high level tadi yang kami sebutkan itu akan dilakukan di Bali secara fisik pada tanggal 14 Juli 2022. Indonesia memiliki peluang yang besar untuk menjadi pusat ekonomi keuangan syariah dunia, insya Allah dengan niat yang lurus dan perencanaan yang baik, dan didukung kerjasama, kolaborasi dari seluruh stakeholders. Mudah-mudahan insya Allah kita bisa wujudkan itu dalam waktu yang tidak terlalu lama lagi. Demikian yang dapat kami sampaikan, dan dengan mengucap Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, kegiatan workshop on opportunities of productive Awqaf financing pada hari Rabu 22 Juni 2022 secara resmi dibuka. Selamat mengikuti workshop dengan baik. Semoga Allah Subhanahu wa taala memudahkan semua urusan kita, memberikan keberkahan dan kelancaran pada acara ini. Wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih atas pembukaannya, Bapak Arif. Our distinguished participants, let's proceed to our main agenda today, which is workshop session that start by the presentation from APIF about the business model of APIF. Presentasi akan disampaikan dalam bahasa Inggris. Bapak Ibu dapat mengaktifkan menu interpretasi yang ada di menu di layar bagian bawah. The presentation will be delivered by Mr. Syed Muhammad Asim Raza from Islamic Development Bank. In IsDB, Mr. Raza is involved in developing the enabling environment for Waqaf and endowment sector in OIC member and non-member countries, as well as providing technical assistance for capacity building, regulatory, and institutional development. Please, we welcome Mr. Syed Muhammad Asim Raza to start your presentation. The screen is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And first of all, I would like to thank you, all of you who are participating in this workshop. We are really pleasant to attend this workshop because we know that we are the partner in the development of WAF globally. And this is our opportunity that we should work with our Indonesian brothers for the development of all those 400,000 properties which one of the speakers has mentioned about it. So inshallah, we will have some fruitful discussion during our question and answer session. But before that, inshallah, I will make a presentation that what Awqaf Property Investment Fund and IDB is doing in the development of WAF all over the world or globally. So I have with me my colleague, Brother Allah. He will also please to respond to your questions. if any, after the presentation. So I will make the presentation without making any further wastage of time. And I once again thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to providing and share our experiences of the development of WAF globally. Let me open my presentation and please confirm if you can see the presentation. Can anyone of you please confirm that you can see my presentation and you can listen to me clearly?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. I'll discuss about the role of Islamic Development Bank in promoting a sustainable development through Awqaf. You know, development of Awqaf is not an issue, but in fact, it should be a sustainable one. That is an issue. So, I will try to be concise in my presentation and try to give you about an overall picture of how we have developed the WAF globally. So let us first discuss about what is WAF. I know that most of our friends are very much aware about the WAF and the endowment and the concept of WAF in the Islamic history. But let's refresh our knowledge about that. You know that WAF is an Arabic word. In English, it is called endowment, which means to hold something or to keep something for a certain particular reason. And or detain any property or the cash, whatever is you have for the welfare of the community and for the welfare of the Ummah. So this is the concept behind this, and this is a very strong institution of Islam, what we have seen in the past also. And I'll tell you about how we have done this and we have seen in the past during the early days of Islam also. So it is not like zakat that it is a compulsory thing that you have to pay 2.5% of your savings at the end of the year. It is a voluntary endowment. It is a voluntary thing for those people who Allah has given them a good heart and the properties or the cash they can give for the welfare of the community. So the purpose
Excuse
of
me,
this
Mr.
endowment.
Raza. I'm
Yes, please.
sorry. Could you please make the presentation full screen? Because I can still see the display settings in here.
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Could you
what you're
please
saying?
make the presentation full screen?
My presentation is on full screen, I believe so.
Could you change the display settings on top of the monitor? Display settings, you can change it, the display settings into...
Let me check again, please. I'm sorry for that. Why it's not coming?
Okay.
Is it okay now?
You can see on top of the menu, there is a display settings. You can click it, the display settings on top of the...
No, I can't see it. Now can you see that, please?
Yeah, but it's not full screen.
Why it's not working? In my laptop it's showing the full screen. I don't know why it's not. Brother Allah, can you help me out to do something?
On top of the menu, you can see the option display settings right here. Display settings. No, it's on top of the monitor.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to do.
Or
just a minute. Let me do it
Or
again.
maybe we can just continue the presentation. It's okay, Mr. Raza.
Let me try from my side, and it worked. But from my side,
Okay.
just
Okay, but Allah, please try from your side.
Yes, it's great now. Thank you.
Okay, Brother Allah, I will request you when I work for one slide, I will request you to please change for me. Okay, that's okay?
okay. No problem.
Okay. I'm sorry, gentlemen and my sisters, that we have this technical problem. Anyway, let's go back to our presentation. As I was explaining to you that Waqf is the Arabic word and everybody knows what it means in English. So it is an endowment basically, and the purpose is to hold something for the welfare of the community or to get the reward for the working of the community. So if you talk about the plural of Waqf, it is called Awqaf, means that number of properties or things. As I mentioned, that it is not mandatory in Islam to create the Waqf, but it is a voluntary endowment or the asset or a trust. And the purpose of this is that the property or the funds you want to retain for Awqaf, it should be always there. However, the income of that property or the income from that investment shall be used for the welfare of the community. So this is the basic concept. And in the history also, we have seen that many Awqafs were developed. Let me take you back to the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That at the time when Sayyidina Umar came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he says that I have a piece of land in Khyber. What should I do? How can I help my community for how can I help the community with this piece of land? So he says, okay, whatever is the product on this agricultural land, share it with your Muslim brothers. So that was the concept of Waqf at that time. And Sayyidina Umar donated that piece of land as a Waqf for the community. And whatever is the income generated, that has been given to the community. Similarly, we have seen the example of Sayyidina Umar. He purchased a well, which is called Baroha, and this well was made a Waqf, and that was given to the Muslims for getting the water shortage what they have from there, and they get the water from that well. So we have seen in the past that the Waqf concept was started at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then in the later stage, we have seen that Abbasites, Umayyads, Fatimids, and even at the time of Uthmani Caliphate, we have seen a lot of works were developed for the welfare of the community. And these works for agriculture, healthcare, scientific research, and for the victims of war, even for the domestic abuses and for education purposes. Let me say that whenever the Umayyads or Abbasites or the Uthmanis created any social project, with that they created the Waqf. What do you mean by this is that if a hospital is established for the welfare of the community, so they put some agricultural land for that particular hospital. So whatever is the income by selling the product of that land is used for continuity of providing the free of cost medical services to the people over there. So that was, in the past we have seen that all these Muslim rulers have provided Waqf. We have seen today also that in the West, if you see that Harvard University, MIT University, Oxford University, they have also created the Waqf, which they name as endowment. And these endowment funds are more than billions of dollars, which they are providing for research. They are providing the benefits to the students who cannot continue their studies in shape of scholarships also. So the main purpose of the Waqf is to reduce inequality and poverty among the society. This is the bottom line figure. And this is what Islam has provided, that everybody should be treated equally and the poverty should be alleviated from the society. Bella, please second, right? Thank you. So now let's talk about what ISDB is doing for that. Islamic Development Bank has a very strong commitment about the development of Waqf and how they are doing. They have a three-point strategy about that. One is that we are making the encouragement for the people to work with us, to partner with us in the development of Awqaf. And how we do it, like we are working with the institution, as if we are doing today with you, that we are providing the advices, consultancy services, we are holding conferences, and the workshop like today, that we tell what is the concept of Awqaf, how we can develop the Awqaf, and how we can help our community and get the benefit out of this strong institution of Islam. Secondly, we are just not making the encouragement or making the advices. We also do the implementation of these advices and turn them a concept into reality. And definitely the concept requires to make the reality some funds. And for that matter, Islamic Development Bank has established a special fund called the Awqaf Properties Investment Fund. And these investments are all over the world for the development of Waqf. This fund is providing financing all over the world so that the Waqf properties globally can be developed and provide benefits to the Muslim community. Next slide, please. So basically, IDB has divided the work of Awqaf in five major departments. So we have developed an Islamic Solidarity Fund, which is $10 billion fund. And the main purpose of the fund is to alleviate poverty in the Islamic countries. So this fund provided financing and support in shape of financing and the financing so that the project could be implemented and the income could be given to the poor countries. Similarly, we have an Islamic Research and Training Institution, and this institution is making the research, they are providing advices, they are helping how to develop Waqf globally. Then we have Waqf World Foundation and Islamic Fund for doing this. But I will focus myself on the Islamic Finance Sector Development Department, to whom and myself and Brother Allah are representing this workshop today. So next slide, sir. So let's discuss what this Islamic Finance Sector Development Department is doing and what are our functions. So basically what we are doing is, you know better than me that in order to develop Waqf, there should be an enabling environment to do that. To develop anything, you have to have an enabling environment which supports the development of Waqf. And what is the important thing behind this is the capacity building. The capacity building of the Nazirs, the capacity building of the investors, the capacity building of all those people or the stakeholders who wanted to develop Waqf in their own country. And how to do this? The first and the foremost thing is the promulgation of Waqf law in that country. Unless you have the law, no investor can come into your country, no Waqif can provide their land or their assets for the development because they are afraid of that in absence of Waqf law, they may have the security issues for their property. So we in IDB help for the development of Waqf laws in the country. Secondly, without transferring of knowledge from one country's experience to the other country, we cannot develop Waqf. Like for example, we have seen in our experience that Bahrain has a very developed Waqf system in their country. Like in Iran, we have seen Saudi Arabia. There are a number of countries in Islamic countries we have seen that they have developed Waqf. They have their Waqf authorities, they have Waqf ministries in the government, and they are helping for the development of Waqf in the country. So what we do is that whatever is the experience of one member country of Islamic Development Bank, like Saudi Arabia or Iran or any country, we transfer the knowledge to other countries where they have less knowledge about their Waqf. So this is what we are doing, and we called it as a reverse linkage for the transfer of knowledge. Now I'll talk about the Awqaf Property Investment Fund. This is the core function for the development of Waqf properties. This fund was established in 2001. And by the way, I am glad to tell you that this fund was established in Indonesia. All the Awqaf ministers of the Islamic countries gathered there in 2001 in a conference, and they thought about that we should develop the Waqf properties all over the world. And in order to do that, we have to have some special funds so that the financing actions can be catered from this fund. So this was established in 2001. And what was the purpose of this fund? Is to transform all the idle lands, those lands which are unproductive, transferring them and making them into the productive Waqf land so that the income can be used by the Waqf for the welfare of their community and to continue their philanthropic work. Not only this, we are also helping through this fund for the purchase of properties also. Like if you find it out a property, like a commercial center or a residential apartment building, buy that property and then the income can be used for the continuity of the philanthropic actions of that charity organization which intend to purchase that property. Not only this, we also help the renovation of Waqf properties also. We have seen in many countries that there are so many Waqf properties, but they are in the depleted condition. They are not able to generate the revenue. So we are helping for the renovation of those buildings also. Now the question arises, who are our beneficiaries? To whom we can provide the financing? Of course, the major are the Awqaf ministries in the Islamic countries, the Waqf and charity organization, any non-profit organization which is working for the philanthropic work of the community, like support if a charity organization is supporting the orphanages, or supporting the widows, or supporting the poor who cannot meet their two ends. So basically, all those charity organizations can be benefited from our financing who are doing the welfare work and they have a past record about this. In addition to this, we are providing assistance for the recovery of registration of Awqaf lands. We have seen that in many Islamic countries all over the world that these lands are either grabbed by the land grabbers or confiscated by the government also. So if the Waqf want to regain its land, we can help them to provide the legal support, to provide the consultancy services in order to get these lands. And after all, every good project needs a feasibility study. And sometimes the charity organization do not have the financial resources to make a feasibility report for the project. And in order to have a good project, a good feasibility required to be constructed, to be prepared by any consultant. So we provide the technical and the financial assistance to the charity organization to prepare the feasibility study of the project. Next slide, please. So all this can happen if we have a strong financial resources about that. So Awqaf Property Investment Fund, which we call as Awqaf, has $114.4 million available with us. And not only this, Islamic Development Bank provided a line of financing of $100 million to us. So it's become $214 million available with us. In addition to this, we have $2.25 million for our special allocation in order to develop the Waqf property. And we know that without support of the technical assistance, we cannot proceed further. So we have a special budget from where we can have almost $500,000 so that we can help for the development of feasibility report for the good work project. Next slide, please. We started our journey, as I mentioned, in 2001 with only $50 million. Our fund is subscribed at that time by 10 investors. However, with the passage of time, now we have reached to $114.4 million and we have today 19 investors. And I would like to mention here that Islamic Development Bank management has decided to increase the size of the fund to $2 billion in the next couple of years, inshallah. So this is what we have started with $15 million and we have a target to reach to $2 billion in the future to come. Next slide, please. Who are our participants? Who are our partners in Awqaf Property Investment Fund? It is, of course, the pioneer is Islamic Development Bank with $30 million almost. Then we have a OIC Solidarity Fund having $15 million. Then Faisal Islamic Bank of Egypt, Al Baraka Bank of Bahrain. Then we have two partners from Bangladesh. One of them is Islamic Bank Bangladesh, another is a Social Islamic Bank of Bangladesh. They have contributed with us. We have brothers and financial institutions from Kuwait and Bahrain also. And not only this, Iran has also participated in our fund with $2.14 million. Next slide, please. These are some other, and like in Indonesia, we have from BPKH also. They are our leading partner in our fund, and they have participated with $10 million in our fund. In addition to this, we have partners from Jordan Islamic Bank, Kuwait Awqaf Properties. We have World Assembly of Youth, and from Sudan also the Tadamun Bank, and from Kuwait Direct Aid. So you can see that the participation and subscription are made by the different institutions belonging to the different parts of the world. Next slide, please. Now let's discuss how we work with our partners for the development of work properties. Like for instance, any charity organization, assume any of your, because I know today so many Nazirs are attending this workshop. So let's start. Think yourself that you come to ISDB with an idea that you want Awqaf to be, you want to have a project to continue your philanthropic activity. So what you can do, you can apply to Awqaf Property Investment Fund either through our website or directly to us, either through your ministry or directly send the letter to Awqaf Property Investment Fund with the concept that what you intend to do, and with show us that you have done this philanthropic work for the last couple of years. So what we need from you is basically if you develop a work on a piece of land which you already own it, then you have to give us that information about the land, or if you have some cash, you have to tell us. Then Awqaf Property Investment Fund synergize with you and our expertise with you, and then we jointly develop a project. Suppose if this is a construction project, for example, say an office building you want to construct on that piece of land. So both of us join together, we will provide you financing, you provide the land or some cash also along with the land, and then we develop a real estate project. This project once completed is started paying us back. Paying back to this project is started making the revenue. So what you have to do, you have to divide this income into two parts. One is that you will give us back because this is a fund which is subscribed by 19 different institutions for the development of work globally. So whatever is the income from the project, you give a portion of us to repay us back, and the rest of will go to you for continuity of your philanthropic work. This is how we work together. And once you paid us back the full amount what we have paid to you, then the whole income from that property will be used for your purposes. And you know that we are working, having the focus on SDGs also, SDG 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, and 17. We are developing with the international community. So it belongs to either the poverty alleviation, for the quality education. All these type of projects can be supported through these work projects which we are developing with our partners and others. Next slide, please. So let's see how it works out. Again, I'll take your example. Suppose you have applied for the request for financing from Awqaf Property Investment Fund or IDB. So you send us the request, and then the concept note we will evaluate initially, and our legal department will work with the compliance department and clear that concept and the organization that you are eligible for our financing. And on the basis of this, your concept is clear. Then we will request you to provide us the detailed feasibility report of the project, because without having the feasibility report, you cannot have the project. So we will ask you to please provide us the detailed feasibility report of the project. And then on the basis of this, we will review, make the best due diligence of this feasibility report. And then if we find it out that the project is strong enough and it can be transformed into reality, then our mission will come over there comprises of engineers, finance managers, lawyers, risk people. They will find out and they appraise the project on ground, meet with your organization also, and then on the basis of this, we will prepare the report for our management to get the approval from the management. Once we get the approval, then we got the signing of the financing agreement. After signing the financing agreement and you complete all the requirements of the financing agreement, then we declare the agreement as effective. After this, the project implementation will be started and we will start disbursing to the project. Here I would like to mention that the income, the disbursement of funds will go directly to the consultant or to the contractor who are involved in the project. The money will not come directly to the Nazir. It will go directly to the consultant who prepares the feasibility report or who prepares the designs of the project. Like the construction work, the contractor is doing there, then we will give the money to them. So in this way, we will do that. And once the project is completed, then the project starts getting the income, you pay us back, you started paying us, and whatever is on top of that, you will use to continue your good work, the philanthropic work, and then the project will be yours after you pay us back. So this is the cycle of the project, how we will work on this. And in question answer session, you may ask more information about that. Next, Allah. What type of project we do? We do the residential building. If you want to buy a residential apartment building, we will ready to help you, or you want to develop or construct on the property, we will help you to do that. For the residential apartment building, we will help you to do the office building. If you want to construct the office building, it all depends on the location of the property, or depends on the location where the land is available. It depends on, because if the land is in the residential area, definitely you want to develop that land into a residential building. If it is in the commercial area, you would like to develop that as an office block or some residual type of construction over it. So we will help you to do that. So these type of projects we need. And it can be a mixed-use development also. We have seen and we have financed some of the projects that on the ground floor and the first and mezzanine floor, we have the commercial area, whereas on the top there are residential apartment buildings. In this way, we have a mixed use of the building also. As I mentioned already, that we help you with our financing for the new construction, extension of the existing building, or the renovation or rehabilitation of the existing building also. If you have already an existing building and you want financing from us, we will help you for the renovation of the building so that you can increase the income from that building. We also help you to purchase existing building and converting them into work. Of course, if you see a building and you thought that it is producing a good income out of it, we will ask you to arrange 25 to 35% from your side, and we will give you 75% or 65% and join together to purchase that building, and then this building will be used for the income purposes of the charity organization. Next slide, please. What sort of mode of financing we use in our financing? So basically, if you see that we are doing the Islamic mode of financing, istisna, leasing, murahaba, equity, diminishing mudarba, or build, diminishing participation, or build, operate, transfer, BOT. Istisna is usually used for and leasing used for the construction project, whereas murahaba and murahaba is used for the purchase of the property. Equity also we use for purchase or maybe used for construction. Similarly, for the diminishing participation of equity. Build operate is a BOT for the big projects, huge projects where you need to have to be developed. First you develop the project, then you operate it, and then you transfer to batches. And that requires some SPVs also, but this will be for the big project. Next slide, please. Okay, so how you can approach to us and what are our documents we need from you? So first of all, as I mentioned, we need an official request from you. That what is the project you have to tell in this official request, and then you have to send your Waqf deed or the article of association. We need to know about you. What is your requirement? What is your doing? What are your article of association? We need to see your past track record, and for that matter, we need the audited account so that you know what is your income, what you have earned through donations or you earned from other sources. We need to know that, and for that matter, we need the audited account. Now, if the land is, of course, the Waqf, which is the primary requirement, that if the land is Waqf, then you can qualify for our financing for the construction project only. But for the purchase project, it's not requirement. You have to buy the property and then transform it into Waqf after you pay that tax. And of course, we cannot operate without knowing the local laws and regulations in your country. So I know in Indonesia, as in the previous presentation, somebody was telling that you have established laws over there regarding the Waqf. So we would like to review that trust laws or the Waqf laws in your country. Then, of course, in many countries, the charity organizations are tax exempted. But in some other countries, we have seen that there are some tax laws and regulations which are under the tax authority. So we need to know about the tax laws also. And as mentioned so many times, that a good project should have a detailed feasibility report which provides the information about the economic, market viability of the project, financial viability of the project, legal and technical aspects of the project should be discussed in the feasibility report of the project. Thank you very much. Next slide. So these are the general terms and conditions of our financing. Number one, as I already mentioned about what sort of mode of financing we use. We are using ISDB mode of financing. This is I already discussed with you. Our minimum financing is $5 million for the construction project, and we may consider for lesser amount also, but again, it depends on the viability of the project. If the project is very strong and it has a good yield and income from the project, we may consider for a small project, but we prefer to go 5 million and above size of the project. This must be in US dollar I'm talking about. And our terms of financing is starting from 5 years to 15 years. Suppose you want to construct a project and it takes 2 years to construct, then 13 years for the repayment. So overall tenure of the financing will be 15 years. Our collaterals, of course, any financing should be secured by collateral. It depends on the nature of the project. If it is a government project, that definitely we would like to have the sovereign guarantee from the government. If it is a private sector project or an NGO or a non-profit organization, then definitely we will like to have mortgage on the project, or we will depend on the financing of the project to see their cash flow. So it again depends on the nature of the project. Our financing, as I say, it is not donation. So it is a financing, it's a loan basically, and it has some cost. So, but it is Sharia compliant loan. So it is between 5 to 8%, depends on the nature of the project, size of the project, volume of the project, and the income of the project. So basically this is. And again, if it is a leasing project, then it will be floating rate. If it is Krishna project or Munaba project, then it will be fixed rate. Next project, next slide, please. Now let's discuss about what we have done for this last 20 years, more or less. That we have done 56 projects all over the world, different parts of the world. We have done the projects in 29 in IDB member and non-member countries. When I say member countries, means Islamic countries, which are the member of OIC and the member of IDB also. And if you see the total worth of these projects, they are more than $1.1 billion. The aggregate amount of these projects are more than $1.1 billion. Last year also, despite of Corona and all these things, we have done 4 Waqf projects in 2 or 3 different countries, worth of $67.4 million. So even in 2021, we have done 4 or 5 projects in different countries. Next slide, please. This is the region-wise distribution of our projects. That out of these 56 projects, the major portion in Sub-Saharan Africa with 14 projects we have done there. In Asia, we have done 6 projects. In Europe, 7 projects. In Middle East and North Africa, 24 projects. Of course, the concentration more was in Middle East and North Africa. Then in North America also, we have done 3 projects, and 2, 3, 4 more projects are in the pipeline. In Oceania region also, we did 1 project, but we are looking for 2 projects in Australia and 1 project in New Zealand as well. Next slide, please. This is, of course, by region-wise in terms of percentage. If you see that 39% we have done in the Middle East and North African regions, 25% in sub-Saharan African countries, 16% in Asia, and if you see that 4% in North America also. So this is the distribution region-wise in terms of percentage of our financing for the development of Waqf properties globally. Next slide, please. Okay, now this is for the sector-wise, that which sector and what percentage our projects are in. So if you see that 31% of our financing is used for those charity organizations which are involved in the education sector. The education sector, it means that if there is a university or a school who are providing education to the community, and the work concept is behind there, because you are supporting the students, you are supporting the teachers for the development of their, like for somebody is doing, like I give you example in Bangladesh, there is a university. We have developed a project, and the income of the project is used by the university for those students who cannot continue their studies because of the lack of the financial resources. So this university is providing them financing. So 31% of our financing has gone to the education institutions. 32% has gone to the relief and charity organizations. Most of the charity organizations are doing the relief work. Like mostly we have seen in the Syrian episode that most of the Syrian brothers are moving from one place to another, one country to another. So these charity organizations supporting them. In your country also, we have seen that during tsunami time, most of the charity organizations are working there on the relief activities. So 32% of our financing has gone there. Awqaf and religious organizations, we have given 29% there. And for health purpose, we have given 4%. Like if the hospital is providing health facilities free of cost, then our financing will be used for a project, not for the hospital, but for the project which provides the support to the destitute or the ill people who cannot support their health activities. And 4% has gone to the youth project. Next slide, please. So this is what I have discussed about our working. Now, if you see our financials, that overall the fund has internal rate of return starting from 7% to 16%. And our average yield is 5.5%. Of course, every year the yield is different, but I'm giving you here the average income of our fund, which is more than 5.5%. You know, we have the subscribers, 19 subscribers I mentioned already. So these 19 subscribers use their dividend on their investment with our fund. So starting in the last 20 years, we have given with an average of 2.5 to 3% on an average to our subscribers in the fund as a dividend or on their investment. If you see our total assets, which has grown up to 2021 to $134 million. And inshallah, in the near future, it will be increased on a rapid and fast track basis. Next slide, please. So basically, you know, if you see the impact of our fund, what is the impact? It has the financial return for a few shareholders, because we are giving them, as I mentioned, dividends to our subscriber in the fund from 2.5% to 5%, and they are getting the capital gain as well in the share value. They have purchased the share of $10,000, which has reached to $11,590. So this is the capital gain on their investment also. If you see the social impact of the project, these investors are the partner with us in the development of Waqf. Like 17 projects are supporting various charitable and relief organizations, 17 projects in education, 16 projects in religious education, 4 projects in youth empowerment projects, and 2 projects are supporting the health sector. So you are not getting the income on your investment, but you are supporting the social cause of the project through the development of Waqf. If you see the financial return on the beneficiaries, of course, the idle lands were transformed into revenue generating projects. This is important. You are purchasing the properties and buying them, and after that transforming them into the income generation for your philanthropic organization or the charity organization you are getting out of it. So if you see that after the repayment to IsDB, after repayment to Islamic Development Bank or to the Awqaf Property Investment Fund, we have seen on an average that every project, not all, but on an average, they have $1 million available for them to help the community. This is a general understanding about the project we have seen. Again, it all depends on the nature, size, and volume of the project. Okay, next slide, please. If you see the socio-economic benefits of it, number one is, of course, the revival of Sunnah of Waqf. As I said, that with the passage of time, our community, our people are, forget it about this strong institution of Waqf. But now with this fund, we are helping for the revival of Sunnah of Waqf, because this is a Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Through this fund, we are promoting the Islamic finance in the IDB member countries, means Islamic countries, and in the non-member countries, in the Western countries also. That Islamic finance people are get to know more about Islamic finance. And again, the best part is the socio-economic development of needy and destitute. Through you, like through, I know so many Nazirs are sitting there, they know that what they are doing for the community. So through this fund, through the development of Waqf, we are helping the needy and destitute in our region. We are providing the financial and technical support for the capacity development, like what we are doing today. That we are doing these workshops, we are providing the technical assistance for the promulgation of Waqf laws, and we are helping the Nazirs to train them how to manage these Waqf projects, how to develop the Waqf projects. So we are helping them through our technical support and financial. And last but not least is the embellishment of cities. You see, I have seen one project, there is a piece of land in Jakarta, and this is a very good land in the Golden Triangle area. But this land, millions of dollars, but this land is being used for car parking area. And this, how much you can earn this from the development of this land. But this land was not, developed because of the lack of financial resources. So we are here to help you, to partner you to develop these type of land. So once this piece of land which is being used only for carping or dumping the garbage can be transformed into a beautiful building, and this will increase the beauty of the city as well. Next slide, please. Now I will discuss about the project, some of the projects, so you will understand how we work and what is the outcome of our project. So let's discuss first project, which is for the Islamic University in Chittagong, Bangladesh. This university came to us and they says that they have a couple of students or number of students who cannot continue their studies, but they are bright students, but due to the lack of financial resources, they cannot. So they want to have a Waqf project for that. So we request them that do you have any Waqf land? So we will help you to develop into Waqf. So you see on the right side that a piece of land which is being used at that time for dumping of garbage of the city there. And now today it's a beautiful piece of building and architecture is developed there. So, and the university is getting income out of this. We provided only $5 million for a project of $5.5 million. The sponsor arranged $1.5 million from their own side, and we provide $4 million to them. And due to our synergy, we have developed this Waqf office tower in Chittagong, Bangladesh. And what is the outcome and impact of this? The income is being used for 250 students to provide them accommodation, food and books, and 30 staff from the university get their PhD after the income from this project. And of course, if you see the total impact on the country, it is increasing the literacy and economy of the country as well. Next slide, please. This is another project in Bangladesh, an iconic building in Bangladesh. And this Bangladesh, IDB developed a fund with the government of Bangladesh. And we developed a fund of $10 million. IDB provided $10 million. Government of Bangladesh provided a piece of land, a big piece of land over in Dhaka, which is the capital city of Bangladesh. And then through our financing and the help of the government of Bangladesh, we have been able to arrange and construct this building, which is an office building and the computer mall over here. And today, 10,000 students have got supported from this income, from the income of this project. And Alhamdulillah, Those students are getting either IT scholarship, vocational training, madrasa support. All of the income that is being generated from the project is being used on the students. And some of the students who are graduated through the help of these IT scholarships are now working in Apple and in other US and other developed countries in different reputable organizations. Next slide, please. This is a project in Lebanon, and this project was basically, as I mentioned, that we also help for the renovation and rehabilitation of the buildings also, which are destroyed. So this project was also sponsors of the project is Bazar is a Maqasid philanthropic organization. This organization was very old. It was established in 1878. Very big organization involved in providing support to in the health sector, in the education sector. So they have a building over there in the main city center in Lebanon, Beirut. So we have them providing the financing of only $5 million for a project of $21 million. And today this project was completed, and inshallah the income will be used to support the community in the field of health education for this charity organization, which is supporting 45 schools, universities, vocational training centers, and 65,000 hospital patients in the hospital for supporting the health activities. Next, please. This is a project which we are working in Washington, D.C. in the United States of America. This organization is providing the legal support to the Muslim over there, so that if the lawyer fees is too on the very higher side and ordinary people cannot support to have the support of the legal fraternity. So what is this organization? They are providing the legal support to the Muslim community over here. But of course, they was totally dependent on the charity. Charity cannot be a continued aspect. So what has happened? This organization has a piece of land in the city center in Washington, D.C. They came to us and they gave us the concept of the project of $30 million, and we provided them $16 million. And today the project is under construction. And after the completion of this project, this organization will be able to provide justice and support, legal support to the Muslim community in the United States of America. Next slide, please. This is another project in the United States of America in New York. This organization is called Searching Foundation, which is registered in the United States of America, and they are providing support to the students through the scholarships, boarding, and lodging. They are working in Turkey as well, and they have a big network of providing hostels to the students on charity basis, as well as to the student who can afford. They can have the hostel facilities and the boarding and lodging facilities in their close to their university. So this organization came to us with almost $90 million project, and this is in the Manhattan area. You can understand that only the value of the land was more than $20 million. They came to us and we provided them $35 million. And today this project is about to be completed, inshallah, by the end of this year or early next year. And what will happen that once the project will be completed, 4,000 deserving students will getting financial support from this project in the United States of America as well as in Turkey, and they will be able to continue their study. And you can understand that once these students graduated from these universities, how much they will produce for their own country. So this will be a great contribution to the socio-economic and human development through this project. Next, please. This is a project in Sudan, and this project basically belongs to an organization which is involved to provide the Quranic education to those people who cannot see or underprivileged strata of the society. Some of them were, due to some reasons, they were in prison. So when they came out of the prison, they don't know what to do, and they have no financial resources to provide support to their livelihood. So this organization is providing them support, financial support, as well as the logistic support. Similarly, they are providing support to the students in madrasas for remembering of Quran. memorizing of Quran. They are providing them. They are also providing support to the orphans, which are more than 1,000 in Sudan. And not only this, we are providing vocational training to the students over there. Those who are coming from the jail, they provide them vocational training institutions so they become a good citizen of the country. So this organization has a piece of land in Khartoum, Sudan. They came to us for a project of $9.5 million. We provided them $7.5 million, and the project is now completed. And soon, inshallah, they will start repaying to us as well. Next slide, please. This is another project in Africa, in Senegal, the city of Dakar. It's a very big and very excellent project in the country. So basically, we have provided to the government of Senegal $16.2 million. The government provided $3.7 million to us, and then we have been able to conceive the project into reality of a 16-floor residential building in the prime location in Dakar. And of course, once the project will be completed, it will support the 64 Quranic schools, which are called Daraz schools, to support the students over there. And you can understand that these 64 Quranic schools cover or cater the needs of more than 12,000 students and to provide them the financial sustainability. And of course, it will pave the way for work development in this country. Next slide, please. This is another project in Africa and Kenya. This is for Tawfiq organization, Tawfiq charity organization. But you know, the beauty of this project is that this project was established in Kenya, but the income is going to the people in Somalia, because we cannot establish the project in Somalia because of the current political upheaval in the country. So we help them to have a project in Kenya where the political situation is more calm, the economy is on the strong footing. So we help them, a Kenyan or institution, in Somalian institution, to help a project in Kenya, and the income of this project will be used for the people in Somalia. So you can see that with our help and financing, we have been able to purchase a 7-floor rented building, which has to be rented, and the income will be used to support financial support to 5 schools in different parts of Somalia, and it will support more than 4,000 students and more than 101,000 orphans. And this organization is also involved to provide the water, and they are digging the wells in different parts of Somalia. So you can understand that you can have a project in another country, but the income can go back to the country. We are considering one project in Australia, and the income of the project will go to the charity organization in Bangladesh. So, you know, we have this mixed type of project as well. The next slide, please. This is another project in Colombo, Sri Lanka. You know, I'm giving you a mix of projects which are in the Islamic countries as well as in the non-Islamic countries. Like this, Sri Lanka is not the member of Islam, OIC or the IDB, but this project we have done in Sri Lanka. This project is basically supporting the orphans. When we started the project, it was 600 orphans in the orphanage, and now more than 1,000. So you can see that this project, how much it can support to the orphans for providing them lodging and food support to them. So it was we provided $10 million for a project of $19 million, and a twin tower is being constructed under the supervision of IDB. And inshallah, once the project will be completed, it will provide food, shelter, and clothing and education, as well as the health care to the orphans in this country. Next slide, please. This is another project for an organization called Fujairah Welfare Organization in UAE. This organization requested us to provide $20 million project because this organization is supporting the orphans, widows, and locally as well as internationally. Where there is a calamity, this organization gives this support through their financing and their technical assistance to those calamity hit areas. So they come up $20 million project. We provided them $6 million, and this wonderful building was constructed, which is being now used from their income for supporting more than 40,000 deserving families, more than 2,000 women, and more than 4,000 students. So in a way, you understand that how we are helping through our project to support the charity organization, which is initially dependent on donations, but now through these projects, their reliance on donations are decreased, and they come up with the ideas that, okay, they have a perpetual income from these projects to continue their philanthropic work or to support the community. Next slide, please.
Excuse me, Mr. Raza.
Yes, this is the last one.
Okay.
Yes, this is the last one, and I'm now completing my. This is a large project which we have done recently in 2019 in UK, and we purchased this building for a charity organization called Mercy Mission. And after our financing of 1.42 million, this project is purchased, and now this organization is supporting the orphans, students, and food supplies to the destitute Muslims living in UK. So with this, although I understand that this is a little bit lengthy presentation, but I understand also that with this presentation and with their live examples, you will be able to understand how you can develop a project, how we can help you to develop the project, and how you can get the income from these projects. Next slide, please. And I think this was the last slide. So if we together work, inshallah, we will have a better world and the Islamic world as well. With this, I complete my presentation, and I would like to thank you on my behalf and Allah's behalf that you have given us patient listening. And now we welcome your questions. Myself and Brother Allah are available to respond to your questions. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Raza, for the clear explanation. Next, we proceed to the next agenda. It's the Q&A session. For this session, we would also like to invite Mr. Ala Awaida for answering the questions from the participants. Selanjutnya, kita akan memasuki sesi tanya-jawab. Kami mempersilahkan Bapak Ibu peserta untuk menyampaikan pertanyaannya melalui fitur raise hand atau melalui kolom chat. Untuk pertanyaan melalui kolom chat, mohon agar menuliskan nama dan asal lembaga Bapak Ibu.
Raise hand.
Untuk sesi pertama, kami akan mempersilahkan 3 lembaga wakaf untuk mempresentasikan proyeknya. For the first session, I'm going to invite Mr. Bobby Manulang from Dompet Duafa to present his project. Kepada Bapak Bobby Manulang, kami persilahkan.
Baik, terima kasih. Bisa dalam bahasa Indonesia?
Silakan, Bapak.
Oke, baik, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Senang sekali kami bisa hadir dalam forum yang sangat bermakna dan bermanfaat ini bagi kami seluruh nazir. Intinya adalah bahwa perwakafan di Indonesia hari ini memang memasuki tahap di mana aspek kemampuan untuk mengenterprise sebuah pengelolaan aset wakaf ini menjadi sebuah tumpuan atau metode dasar bagi para nazir. Sehingga mau tidak mau memang hari ini nazir harus memiliki kemampuan entrepreneurship yang cukup agar wakaf yang dikelola bisa menjadi revenue stream bagi nazir kita semua, karena pada hakikatnya disitulah kemampuan kita untuk bisa mempertahankan pokok wakaf dan juga mengalirkan surplus wakaf kepada para mawquf alaih. Perkenankan saya untuk bisa menyampaikan kurang lebih 5 menit atas proposal ini. Yang pertama adalah bahwa hari ini Dompet Duafa sedang memiliki program untuk pengembangan hospital network berbasis pelayanan kesehatan kepada para duafa. Mengapa kepada para duafa? Karena kami hari ini masih menghadapi satu kondisi di mana masyarakat appreciate dengan partisipasi wakaf uang untuk hal-hal pengembangan aset produktif yang masih memiliki misi kemanusiaan yang sangat kental. Oleh karena itu, alhamdulillah hari ini juga ada BPJS, sehingga kami bisa menerapkan apa yang biasa kami sebut dengan blended finance, di mana pengembangan properti atas rumah sakit yang kami kelola itu semuanya diperoleh dari dana wakaf. Sementara untuk operasional atau working capital yang sifatnya habis pakai, kami menggunakan dana zakat dan infak. Dengan catatan bahwa working capital ini atau layanan medis yang kami berikan adalah kepada mereka yang memang termasuk dalam kategori 8 asnaf zakat atau mustahil. Nah, itu berikut rumah sakit kami. Nah, hampir semua jenis layanan poli rumah sakit umum yang ada di Indonesia hari ini sudah kami miliki, dan 7 rumah sakit yang kami kelola hari ini sudah ada di 4 provinsi, ada di DKI Jakarta, ada di Banten, ada di Riau, kemudian ada di Lampung, ada di Jawa Timur. Nah, ini merupakan salah satu pelayanan kenapa kami melihat bahwa rumah sakit Dompet Duafa harus memiliki kompetensi profesionalisme, tapi dia tetap berkhidmat untuk melayani para duafa. Mengapa melayani duafa yang notabene merupakan pasien tidak berbayar, tetap bisa menjadikan rumah sakit kami kompetitif, bisa mencetak revenue, karena hari ini ada BPJS, di mana segala layanan yang kami berikan nantinya akan dikembalikan dalam bentuk klaim asuransi BPJS. Nah, sehingga yang menjadi fixed cost kita hari ini adalah iuran BPJS kepada para peserta duafa. Jadi duafa yang dilayani secara gratis di rumah sakit kami ini diberikan bantuan iuran untuk kepesertaan BPJS-nya. Selebihnya kami mendapatkan kompensasi penuh ketika klaim BPJS cair. Nah, inilah gambaran awal di mana captive market itu kemudian tercipta dari pelayanan ke-7 rumah sakit yang kami laksanakan hari ini. Yang terakhir kami baru soft launching rumah sakit kami di Hashim Asyari. Ini salah satu bentuk kolaborasi antara Kenaziran Yayasan Tebu Ireng dan juga Yayasan Dompet Duafa. Insya Allah bulan Agustus ini akan kita launching. Nah, kemudian hari ini sebetulnya kami masih membutuhkan ada semacam bridging fund, karena saya pikir ini juga yang dialami oleh semua nazir, bahwa sebetulnya ada gap antara pertumbuhan fixed asset dengan pertumbuhan wakaf uangnya. Hari ini banyak sekali nazir menginginkan aset itu bisa tumbuh tuntas di dalam 1 tahun atau 2 tahun. Sementara kemampuan fundraising mereka itu bisa membutuhkan 3 sampai 5 tahun untuk bisa membiayai full dari satu objek wakaf yang high profile. Artinya yang punya kebutuhan dana di atas 10 miliar. Nah, oleh karena itu kami menginginkan apakah mungkin Awqaf dengan IsDB ini bisa menjadi pihak yang bisa memberikan bridging fund tersebut dengan dengan sebuah jaminan cash flow projection dari kemampuan atau kinerja fundraising kami, sehingga sumber pengembalian dari dana bridging ini adalah pertama dari direct fundraising yang kami bisa proyeksikan sampai 5 tahun ke depan, lalu kemudian yang kedua adalah proyeksi dari revenue beroperasinya rumah sakit itu. Tapi dengan satu catatan bahwa kebanyakan rumah sakit yang kami kelola itu memiliki kebutuhan grace period paling tidak 6 bulan sampai 12 bulan minimal. Karena rumah sakit itu, apalagi dia melayani duafa, tidak langsung bisa perform sepenuhnya secara komersil dalam tanda kutip ya. Artinya dia bisa mendapatkan sumber income yang rutin ketika memasuki 1 tahun pertama. Sehingga kami butuh semacam relaksasi di 6 bulan sampai 12 pertama paling tidak. Nah, sehingga ini menuntut penyesuaian struktur financing dari Awqaf dan juga IsDB agar melihat potret kemampuan nazir kurang lebih seperti kami atau Dompet Duafa yang sudah saat ini sedang mengembangkan program hospital network. Total kebutuhan kami hari ini atas ke-7 rumah sakit tersebut adalah 203 miliar rupiah, dan ini terbagi di dalam kebutuhan untuk working capital dan juga kebutuhan modal. Artinya masih ada beberapa pengembangan properti yang merupakan bagian dari fasilitas rumah sakit tersebut tapi juga sebagian kami membutuhkan untuk yang sifatnya modal kerja atau working capital. Nah, yang menjadi pertanyaan saya sebagai penutup adalah mungkin tidak pola-pola yang structure financing ini disesuaikan dengan kemampuan Nazir seperti yang saya sampaikan tadi, bahwa perlu ada grace period yang amannya adalah sampai 1 tahun atau 2 tahun. Baru kemudian kita mulai mengangsur. Yang kedua, sepertinya tenor ini harus sedikit diperpanjang. Mungkin sekitar antara 20 sampai 25 tahun. Dan yang ketiga adalah apakah pola joint operation memungkinkan di mana nanti pihak APIF itu bisa terlibat dulu sebagai operator sambil dia mengikubasi usaha dari berjalannya atau beroperasinya rumah sakit ini. Nah, dengan demikian kemudian ini betul-betul menjadi pola sirkah yang saling menguntungkan gitu ya, antara APIF dengan Dompet Duafa selaku pemilik aset wakaf untuk sama-sama mengembangkan rumah sakit ini. Jadi tidak hanya hubungannya sebatas kreditur dan debitur gitu ya, tapi betul-betul ada sebuah kerjasama, ada sinergi antara lembaga keuangan dengan pengelola wakaf. Itu saja mungkin. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Billahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih kepada Bapak Bobi. Selanjutnya kami persilahkan untuk penanya kedua dari LP2 Persis kepada Bapak Lutfi. Kami persilahkan.
Baik, terima kasih. Di tempat saya sedang berlangsung adzan, jadi masuk kan ya, jadi saya matikan dulu sebentar. Sebentar.
Atau mungkin Bapak, kita bisa pertanyaan Bapak Bobi tadi kita jawab dulu ya.
Baik, silakan.
Now Mr. Raza and Mr. Ala, we have already listened to Mr. Bobby's questions. Maybe you can answer it first.
Okay, may I request Brother Allah please respond to this question, because Brother Allah is already doing one project related to health services. Brother Allah?
Yeah. Actually, just first, we finance hospitals, projects related to health services and hospitals. But what I understood from that he wants financing for working capital, and he wants financing for about 20 years, and with the grace period of 1 to 2 years. Actually, we have definite conditions as per our rules and regulations. So I'm not sure that first we don't finance working capital because working capital we cannot finance by Islamic mode of finance. We cannot do it as murabaha or istisna or ijar or whatever. So either we do it, we purchase a building, or we construct a building to be on ijar or istisna. For the grace period, it's 1 to 2 years. Normally we give 6 and maximum 1 year of the grace period. More than this, our rules doesn't allow for more than this. For financing period, normally we finance for about 15 years, including the construction phase in case of construction. However, in some very limited occasions, we can finance up to 17 years. So it all depends on the inputs of the project, because we are a AAA organization. So we make sure that the risk is minimum related to our financing in order not to lose our financing rating. And actually what we want to do, and maybe after concluding this workshop, we can share with you some forms. So you can share it with all the people who attended, and they can fill out these forms and send us as a request for information or request for financing from APIF. So the forms will be customer information form and the project concept note. So we can, anyone who is interested in our financing, he can request, he can just fill out these forms and send back to us. And then we will validate and we'll contact them and request further information or give them feedback about our initial assessment. And if there is a potential for financing for the project, we can proceed further, as we have done with some project in the past visit to Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. Okay, maybe we can continue the previous question from Mr. Lutfi. Mr. Lutfi, can you you can ask the question now?
Of course I can. May dalam bahasa aja. Bolehkah tayang screen saya,
Yeah.
Mbak? Saya siap, screen-nya sudah ditayang. Screen saya boleh di-share.
Boleh, Bapak, dipersilakan, Pak.
Sudah ya? Bentar. Oke, sudah ya? Sudah tampak, Mbak?
Iya, Pak.
Oke. Baiklah, bismillah, alhamdulillah, masyaallah, animatillah, la hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Terlampir adalah daftar proyek kami dari LP2W, Lembaga Pemberdayaan dan Pendayagunaan Wakaf Persatuan Islam. Cukup berbahagia kami karena memang Pucuk Dicinta Ulang Tiba workshop ini hadir di tengah-tengah kami sedang membutuhkan. Kemarin beberapa saat, bulan atau minggu yang lalu, kami sempat ada peluang pengembangan proyek dengan nilai 1 triliun minimal dalam jangka waktu payback period 20 tahun, grace period 5 tahun. Sehingga kami susun daftar ini dengan mengacu kepada batasan itu, sehingga jumlah di bawah 1 triliun lebih sedikit. Sebetulnya proyek kami lebih dari itu. Lalu proyek-proyek yang kami ingin ajukan adalah yang pertama, membangun semacam miniatur haramain, tempat manasik haji di sebuah bukit di tempat wisata yang namanya daerah Cibedei atau di Gambung. Itu nilainya kurang lebih sudah tertera di situ. Kemudian ini insya Allah akan menjadi tujuan destinasi wisata dari mereka-mereka para kaum yang berminat untuk mengisi rohaninya dengan wisata yang dunia akhirat. Lalu kami pun perlu lokasi atau venue untuk melakukan manasik haji dari tingkat TK sampai dengan university, dapat melakukannya di situ. Fasilitas yang kami sediakan adalah dari bukit setinggi 21 meter, kami potong 7 meter, kemudian mengalokasikan area datar di puncak seluas 6.000 meter persegi yang kira insya Allah cukup untuk 1.500 jamaah. Jadi kami pun akan menyediakan di situ ballroom, lalu penginapan-penginapan untuk mereka yang butuh nginap di situ, dan fasilitas lainnya agar mereka nyaman seperti mengunjungi tempat wisata. Lalu kemudian untuk pelayanan kesehatan umat, kami akan membangun 2 rumah sakit, yaitu daerah Bandung Selatan dua-duanya, yaitu Pemompok dan Arjasari. Insya Allah cukup memadai untuk melayani kesehatan umat dengan fasilitas-fasilitas yang kita sediakan tipe D, tapi pelayanan insya Allah akan kami lakukan selevel di atas sih, tipe C. Lalu kami pun untuk menjaring rumah sakit itu, pertama-tama pasti tidak membangun rumah sakit besar dulu. Kami akan merintis pula poliklinik pertama yang berisi melayani klinik bersalin dan sebagainya. Kemudian selanjutnya untuk berdaya gunaan wakaf umat, kami punya lokasi-lokasi tanah wakaf yang berada berlokasi di pinggir jalan raya, yaitu daerah Karawang, Cilacap, dan satu lagi di daerah wisata namanya Pangandaran. Yang insya Allah bila kita bangun, itu akan menjadi rest area atau one stop rest area, di mana kita sediakan masjid, dan di bagian belakangnya kami siapkan juga pesantren tahfidz Quran, sehingga ini akan menjadi rest area terpadu. Lalu dari hasil semua ini kami akan insya Allah manfaatkan untuk membangun kampus Universitas Persatuan Islam yang alhamdulillah kami mendapat hibah tanah seluas 4 lebih hektar dari Gubernur Jawa Barat Pak Ridwan Kamil yang saat ini sedang terkena musibah putranya itu. Mudah-mudahan dapat doa dari hadirin sekalian untuk putra Pak Ridwan Kamil ini. Mbak dan hadirin semuanya, kalau kita lihat proyek kami ini terbagi dua, profit oriented dan non profit oriented. Jika dana yang kami sediakan ini berupa investasi yang punya payback period tertentu, kemudian mensyaratkan profit sharing tertentu, diharapkan profit oriented project ini dapat menutupi non profit oriented yang berupa pembangunan kampus di bawahnya. Jumlah dan nilai-nilai proyek akan bisa kita pertajam selanjutnya. Ini hanya paparan singkat dalam waktu 5 menit dan berharap walaupun 5 menit ini cukup memikat dan menarik hati dari para investor untuk dapat bekerja sama dengan kami. Demikian Mbak, mudah-mudahan tidak melebihi 5 menit. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih kepada Bapak Lutfi. Mungkin sebelum direspon oleh Mr. Raza and Mr. Ala, kita persilahkan dulu untuk nazir berikutnya, yaitu Bapak Agung dari Yayasan Wakafpreneur Akrom Foundation. Kepada Bapak Agung dipersilahkan. Kami ingatkan bahwa maksimal.
For the next presentation, I think Brother Allah or myself will explain to this presentation so that maybe some of the questions to be raised in the next presentation will be answered before it now. So I think let's go this format. So maybe Brother Allah, would you like to start with?
No, just respond from your side this time.
Okay, you want me to respond?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Regarding this presentation for Brother Lutfi, I think it's very good. And what I understand is that they wanted to have a Manasik Hajj Institute at a tourist destination, and they wanted to establish some hospitals where they can provide the C-care level facilities, and they want to transform some of the lands into the Islamic University and some non-profit organizations and some non-profit and profit-oriented projects. So as in the previous response, Brother Allah has explained in detail that we are willing to help these type of organizations in their work projects. However, the basic concept behind it that we will help for our primary concept is that we will base on two things. One is that the land should be a work. Secondly, it should be at a location where it can be transformed into revenue generating assets. And third is if the organization is working and registered as charity organization in the country, then you are eligible for our financing. However, regarding the project, of course, we need the concept at the first stage. What is the project? How much it is required from us? How much is the total cost? How much you are arranging from your side? And then we discuss with the terms and condition of financing. We agree with you that some of the projects can be constructed in 2 years of time. Sometimes they take less time. And the total tenure of repayment is maybe 13 years or 12 years. So let me just give a broad idea that our terms of financing is for 15 years. For on a very special purpose, maybe the project is big or something like this, then we can have the tenure to 16 or 17 years. But usually we provide financing for 15 years, number one. Number two, we will help you to construct that project. But again, we need a concept note initially and the feasibility report at a later stage in English language so that we can understand and then we can respond. So as our brother Lutfi has already mentioned that they have a pipeline of projects. So what we request is to save the time for others also, he should send all the information to us in the English language along with his covering letter, and then we will review this. And we will find out what project is viable for our financing and how we can proceed. Then we will guide the next step. I think I have responded the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Raza. Maybe next we can move on to the next question from Bapak Agung from Yayasan Wakafpreneur Akrom Foundation. Kepada Bapak Agung, kami persilahkan.
Bu, dari Akrom mungkin saya akan coba share ya Bu ya.
Silakan Pak.
Ya, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih atas kesempatan yang diberikan kepada kami dari Akrom Foundation. Kami awalnya dalam bergerak di bidang konsultan keuangan syariah, ya, dengan kebetulan salah satu founder kami adalah Pak Faruk Alweni, dulu mantan juga di IsDB, dan kami juga pernah terakhir kami membantu tahun 2016 sampai 2020 untuk Asian Mall di Patoni. Nah, ini kami akan memberikan beberapa presentasi terkait proyek yang sedang kami kerjakan, karena kami saat ini juga sedang bekerja sama dengan beberapa perusahaan teknologi untuk membangun macam integrated Islamic culture and technology development project. Untuk presentasinya, saya persilahkan partner saya, Pak Aris. Silakan Pak Aris.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hari ini dari Akrom, kami dengan Wakafpreneur mengedepankan satu proyek integrated Islamic culture and technology development, Pak ya. Just to brief summary, this is located in Subang, Jawa Barat. We have Awqaf nearly 15,000 meter, 1.5 hectare, and we also have a local government partner, Awqaf Indonesia, and we have a local NGO, ya, dari Ikatan Dai Indonesia.
Sorry, we can't hear you, brother.
Mohon maaf Pak, jadi kami dari Akrom, kami mengedepankan integrated Islamic culture, technology development Pak, di mana ini adalah satu solusi bagi boarding school, yaitu pesantren, digabungkan dengan teknologi. Dan ini akan menjadi satu-satunya pesantren yang memiliki data center dan ICT training center, di mana kami sudah bekerja sama dengan Google, Microsoft, IBM, dan Lintas Arta sebagai penyedia fiber optik. Jadi nanti selama 24 jam pesantren kami akan memiliki data center dan connectivity terhadap high speed broadband internet access. Dan kami dibantu juga oleh local government partner, Badan Wakaf Indonesia, dan dengan NGO partner, Ikatan Dai Indonesia, dan kami juga bekerja sama dengan international partner, Pak. Jadi Central Asia, Southeast Asia Business Chamber, dan Unity Asia. Jadi ini akan menjadi total investment 9 million USD, dan akan kita kembangkan dalam 1 tahun, di mana saat ini sudah mencapai land clearing dan permit. Seperti itu Pak. Terima kasih Pak.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Agung. Maybe Mr. Ala or Mr. Raza want to respond to Mr. Agung?
Yeah, just I want a small comment. It seems that the project objectives is in line with our objectives. In general, all the projects which were presented, they are in line. Just our main requirement that the benefits or the outcome of the project should be donated as WAF, the project should be as a WAF, so the returns should be used for charitable activities. And as I mentioned earlier, we cannot judge on the project if they can be financed or not. If there is any specific question, then we can answer them. So it seems that there are a lot of interesting projects, so we just need more information, as Brother Asim just mentioned. And we'll send you the forms, and you can fill them, and then inshallah, hopefully, with I believe that we receive a lot of requests quickly, so hopefully we can respond within a week for requesting for further information or giving feedback on the provided information. But we would like to mention that we start normally gradually, so we don't request a lot of documents at the beginning. We just first request about the concept of the project, just general information about the organization and its activities. And after that, if we find that these are valid things, then we can go for the next step. We request for further details and documentation in order to prove to start the due diligence on the project and the organization. As Brother Asim mentioned in one of the slides, that our process, it seems it's a very comprehensive process, and in each stage we spend a lot of time and efforts from our side because we are bankers at the end, but we'll try inshallah to serve as much as possible, inshallah. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ala. For the next question, I'm going to invite Mr. Aris from BSM Umat. Kepada Bapak Aris, kami persilahkan. Bapak Aris atau Bapak Sunarto dari BSM Umat, kami persilahkan.
Ya, Sunarto ya, Mbak. Baik,
Oh,
bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih atas waktu dan kesempatannya. Izin dari BSM Umat memaparkan terkait dengan proyek aset wakaf yang rencanakan kami kembangkan di tahun 2022 ini. Di tahun 2022 ini, maka BSM Umat selaku stakeholder utama Bank Syariah Indonesia, jadi Bank Syariah Indonesia hari ini itu kan mergeran dari 3 bank ya, antara BNI Syariah, BRI Syariah, dan BSM. Nah, kami selaku stakeholder utama dari BSM Umat mendapat informasi bahwa banyak kantor dari BSI itu banyak yang akan relokasi. Artinya dalam hal ini banyak potensi yang bisa dikerjasamakan dengan kami. Nah, kami dengan BSI akan membangunkan atau membelikan aset wakaf berupa gedung, begitu nanti yang akan disewa oleh pihak BSI. Kenapa kami memilih dari aspek bisnis ini? Karena melihat dari harga properti setiap tahunnya meningkat. Ini data kami ambil dari GI ya, di bulan keempat 2021. Berikutnya, nah, jadi tahun 2022 ini, jadi mendapat informasi bahwa ada 1.365 kantor cabang di seluruh Indonesia, dan sebagian besarnya adalah sewa ya, dan ini menjadi potensi buat kami bahwa yang sewa-sewa itu nanti akan ditutup dan akan menyewa langsung dari internal kami di BSM. Seperti itu. Nah, jadi ini skema yang kami tawarkan kepada Afif ya. Jadi Afif memberikan pendanaan ke kami lalu BSM Umat, kemudian dana tersebut akan kami belikan aset dalam berupa gedung, dan gedung ini akan kami sewakan kepada BSI. BSI akan membayar sewa per periodik gitu ya, dalam informasi yang kami dapat 5 tahun pertama sampai dan seterusnya. Nah, ini tentu kami akan mencari gedung-gedung atau kantor yang sangat strategis yang ini bisa dimanfaatkan selamanya oleh layanan Bank BSI. Nah, dalam waktu dekat ini, tahun 2022 ini akan kami membeli di 2 titik ya, yaitu di daerah Makassar, karena paling terdekat yang bisa dimanfaatkan gedungnya daerah Makassar, ini di daerah Sidrap dan daerah Sintang. Kurang begitu. Nah, kurang lebih anggaran yang dibutuhkan adalah 3 miliar, tapi ini untuk pilot project pertama. ya sudah info bahwa nanti dalam 1 tahun pertama mereka sewa 167 juta dan ini periodiknya selama 5 tahun pertama mereka akan dibayar di muka dan kami menghitung BEP-nya kurang lebih 15 tahun 10 bulan, ROI-nya 31,60% dan PF-nya 2.357.906 rupiah. Nah, mungkin itu dari BSM Umat, proyek yang akan ke depan akan kami lakukan adalah terkait dengan office building. Mudah-mudahan ini bisa didanain oleh APIF gitu yang bisa kolaborasikan dengan BSM Umat. Mungkin itu saja dari saya, Mbak. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please, Mr. Raza or Mr. Ala for responding to Mr. Sunarto about his project.
Just one clarification I would need to know, because what I understand is that they wanted to purchase office buildings in order to relocate these people from the previous offices. So my question is, where is the concept of Waqf there is? When the rent they get as an income from these buildings, which they are going to purchase, what is the use of it? Where they will use as a Waqf concept? So I need the clarification on the basis of that.
Oh iya, itu ada di slide berikutnya sih. Ini masih bisa saya tanggapin ya?
Ya, Mangga, Pak Sunarto dipersilahkan.
Oh iya, pertama gedung ini nanti kan rencana kan kami beli menggunakan dana wakaf. Nah hasil pengelolaannya ini akan kami salurkan kepada program charity yang dikelola oleh kami. Dalam hal ini ada program pendidikan dan ekonomi. Dari hasil pengembangan mauquf alaihnya ini akan kami salurkan kedua program tersebut. Maaf ini tadi nggak sempat saya munculkan ya karena waktunya juga terbatas. Tapi intinya nanti bisa kami kirimkan proposalnya lebih detail ya kemana dana hasil pengembangan dari aset wakaf ini akan kami salurkan kepada mauquf alaih yang akan kami munculkan begitu dari hasil pengelolaan aset wakaf ini. Begitu.
Okay, Mr. Raza and Mr. Ala, are there any response? Or we can continue.
Just one thing. Okay, in the initial presentation, myself and then later on Brother Allah expressed categorically that we provide financing to the charity organizations, not any other organization. So if the organization is a non-profit organization or a charity organization or the Ministry of Awqaf in government, we will provide financing to them. So here what I understand is that the requesting organization is not the charity organization. So if the charity organization is behind the project, we understand that this is being used for the work purposes. But here my brother Haris is saying that their income from these properties will be used and give it to different charity organizations, which we will provide to at a later stage. So what I suggest is that he should send us all the information which we are requesting, and then we will look into it and we will respond to it accordingly.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Baik, nanti akan kami kirimkan proposalnya secara detail ya, Mbak Putri.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak Sunarto.
I think Brother Zaki from IDB, he has some comments as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Brother Allah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak Ibu sekalian, I'm Indonesian in Jeddah. I just wanted to clarify regarding BSI's discussion. We are talking with Pak Bob Ananta now for potential collaboration with Bank Sharia Indonesia. So I think this topic could be elaborated further on a bilateral meeting between us and the directors of BSI, and to clarify what Brother Azam is saying regarding the status of the Awqaf. So I think in this regard, I just wanted to convey that we and suggest to have a bilateral meeting with the management of BSI to elaborate further, because the cooperation may be extended beyond Awqaf financing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zaki. Okay, maybe we will hold another 15 minutes for the next Q&A session. For the next Q&A session, I will invite the participants who has been raising their hands from the beginning. I'm going to invite Bapak Makmur Sentosa. Kepada Bapak Makmur, kami persilahkan untuk bertanya dengan menyebutkan terlebih dahulu asal lembaga Bapak. Kepada Bapak Makmur, kami persilahkan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, Bapak Makmur.
Terima kasih. Saya dari perwakilan Badan Wakaf Indonesia Provinsi Sumatera Selatan ingin mengajukan proposal kerjasama dengan AFIF, di mana kami ada 2 proyek besar. Yang pertama, direncanakan pembangunan rumah sakit jantung di Jakabaring, Palembang. Mauquf alainya adalah beberapa ratus mahasiswa serta santri dari pesantren yang dikelola oleh Kiai Haji Deni Briansyah di Muara Enim dan di Lahat. Itu mauquf alainya. Yang kedua, tanah wakaf yang ada di Jakabaring itu diwakafkan oleh Ketua BWI Provinsi Sumatera Selatan dengan luas wilayah 12.740 meter persegi. Letaknya strategis di tengah kota Palembang, di belakang Universitas Islam Negeri Raden Patah, dan di samping Rumah Sakit Bari Palembang. Itu program yang pertama. Program yang kedua adalah usaha penggemukan sapi Brahmanan Cross, terletak di Kabupaten Indralaya, Ogan Ilir. Dengan aset perhitungan kami 1 tahun bisa menghasilkan laba per ekor sapi 6 juta rupiah, dikalikan 1.000, maka akan menghasilkan 6 miliar rupiah. Sebagian laba itu adalah untuk menyisihkan pinjaman kami kepada API, kurang lebih 1 bulannya rata-rata 100 juta rupiah, sisanya untuk membantu mahasiswa yang tidak mampu dan pasien yang ada di kota Palembang, khususnya yang di bawah garis kemiskinan untuk operasi jantung. Saya kira untuk lebih detailnya nanti kami akan sampaikan proposal kepada API sehingga dapat kami sampaikan pada bulan insya Allah Juli tahun 2022. Demikian dari kami BWI Provinsi Sumatera Selatan, saya Makmur Sentosa. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Bapak Makmur. Next, I'm gonna invite Mr. Raza or Mr. Allah to respond to Mr. Makmur. Or is it?
Yeah, for the question of Mr. Mahmood, I think he has mentioned about 3 projects. One is the Heart Hospital, the second is the Islamic boarding school, and third is the cow farming. So Heart Hospital is very close and aligned with our mandate, and we will be pleased to look this project in detail. So if he can provide us the concept of the project and detail about his organization, So we will be in a position to look into this project, and hopefully we have a good eye on this project. Secondly, about the Islamic boarding school, if the boarding school will be used for the destitute and the orphans or the kids who cannot afford to live there, then we will look into this also, but provided it will generate the revenue. Third is the cow farming. So we are not interested in agriculture projects because our mandate is belongs to the real estate projects. So basically, we would like to see these first two projects, Heart Hospital and the Islamic Boarding School. But most likely, the Heart Hospital is more close and aligned to our mandate. Brother Rai, you want to add something, or it's okay?
No, it's just I think even for the cow farming, we would like to take some information and let's see, because at the end it's commercial project. If the benefits is going for charity and the project will be as a work, then we may consider it. So we hope just we get information about these projects, all the three projects together.
All right.
All right, thank you, Mr. Azain, Mr. Ala. Maybe this is the last questions. I'm gonna invite Mr. Haris Tiawan to deliver his question. Kepada Bapak Heri Setiawan, kami persilahkan.
Baik, terima kasih. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih atas kesempatannya. Yang pertama tentu saya ingin mengawali dengan satu pertanyaan. Dari fasilitas pembiayaan dari aktif ini dengan dana wakaf, apakah ada semacam kolateral ataupun jaminan yang kami harus berikan untuk mengcover pembiayaan tersebut? Itu yang pertama. Terus kemudian yang kedua, kami di Awqaf Warrior atau Yayasan Berkah Anak Negeri, kami memiliki proyek untuk pengembangan Awqaf Corporate Park, yaitu pusat perkantoran dan juga layanan untuk usaha mikro, kecil, dan menengah. Ini yang sedang kami kembangkan. Tahapan awalnya tentu kami dalam hal ini akan melakukan akuisisi lahan, di mana lahan di atas lahan tersebut sudah memiliki beberapa fasilitas yang sudah ada, diantaranya building yang kita kembangkan, yang sudah existing. Sehingga proses untuk hal ini tentu menjadi lebih cepat dan mendatangkan revenue stream yang insya Allah dari pendapatan pengelolaan corporate park ini kita akan memberikan hasil kepada umat, kepada masyarakat dalam berbagai bentuk, yaitu bantuan pangan kepada masyarakat sekitar dan tidak mampu, kemudian layanan kesehatan murah dan bahkan gratis. Yang ketiga, juga kami ingin memberikan bantuan modal kerja kepada pelaku usaha yang menjadi binaan kami di dalam ekosistem wakaf produktif yang kami kembangkan. Itu mungkin beberapa hal, dan hal ini mungkin kami juga sudah melakukan appraisal terhadap lokasi tersebut, sehingga perjalanan ataupun upaya yang kita lakukan dalam proyek ini bisa lebih lengkap. Apakah mungkin bisa share screen, Pak?
Silakan Pak. Silakan Pak, tapi mungkin tidak terlalu lama ya Pak ya?
Ya, ini sebentar aja untuk memperkuat saja Pak hal yang kami sampaikan. Maaf. Kelihatan nggak?
Ya, terlihat Pak.
Nah, ini yang kami coba kembangkan, Awqaf Corporate Park. Ini lahan yang sudah existing sekitar 3.000 meter persegi, dan di situ juga sudah berada berbagai fasilitas, sehingga kami ingin akuisisi lahan ini, dan kami sudah melakukan pembicaraan intensif dengan pemilik lahan secara prinsip bersedia, dan ini akan Tentu dari dana wakaf yang kami campaign dan kami gunakan, ini akan menjadi benda wakaf produktif gitu. Yang kami kembangkan tentu adalah corporate park, layanan untuk sewa menyewa kantor, dan juga layanan lainnya yang kami jadikan sebagai revenue stream, yaitu kafe dan kulineri, karena ini untuk memfasilitasi para UMKM binaan kami untuk berjualan. Kemudian kami juga melakukan inkubasi ataupun training secara rutin. Kami siapkan di situ juga ada area ballroom ataupun training room. Kemudian kami juga mendorong layanan Islamic sport, homey pools. Nah, ini yang kami berikan untuk memenuhi kebutuhan lifestyle, Islamic lifestyle dan sport bagi keluarga-keluarga Muslim yang ingin terutama berenang ya, yang dimana memang auratnya tentu perlu dijaga. Dan ini kami sewakan secara paket. Nah, ini luasan data kami. Jadi sudah ada luasan 2.900 meter persegi, ada office building 3 lantai, ada swimming pool 2 unit, kafe dan kulineri, dan juga packaging house ini untuk UMKM, serta central kitchen juga untuk UMKM, ballroom dan parking area. Nah, ini yang sedang kami kembangkan. Nah, ini penerima benefit kami dari usaha wakaf produktif ini tentu dalam bentuk bantuan pangan, beasiswa, kesehatan, bantuan modal usaha yang akan dikoordinir oleh Yayasan Berkah Anak Negeri atau Berani Foundation. Demikian mungkin sekilas dari saya. Terima kasih atas kesempatannya. Mudah-mudahan kami bisa mendapatkan layanan ataupun bantuan investasi dari AFI. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please, Mr. Ala or Mr. Azad to respond, Mr. Harry.
Mr. Allah, would you like to respond? Should I?
No, just go ahead. Yeah, I don't think I have something to add. Yeah. Just go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I carefully heard about Brother Hari's presentation and his questions also. The first question is, Apif required the collector. Yes, of course, we provide you financing, so we have to secure that through the collector. So it depends on the nature of the project, what type of project it is. If it is a construction project, then definitely we will have a different security or the collateral. If you are going to buy a building, constructed building, then definitely we'll create a mortgage on that building as a collateral. So this will be related to your first question. Secondly is what I understand is that you are saying that you want to buy a land or you want to buy a property. My understanding is that you are going to buy a already constructed property and you want to develop some facilities like cafe, swimming pool and other areas in this corporate thing. So if you are going to buy a corporate property and you want to lease out and rent out, and then you want to get the income out of it to be used for the poor, to provide them health facilities, yes, we are willing to help you and we will consider the project if you can send to us. It could be a good project, but you are saying that you are acquiring a land. You are acquiring a land or you are acquiring a constructed property. This needs a clarification. But if you are going to buy a property, then of course you would like to see it. But I am not sure that you have mentioned about your organization is a charity organization or not. If you are a charity organization and you want to buy a property, and you want to buy a property, we will be willing to see the proposal.
Oke, thank you.
Kami memang mengakuisisi lahan yang sudah ada fasilitas di atasnya. Dan kami memang berasal dari lembaga sosial wakaf, sehingga memang yang kami kembangkan adalah ekosistem wakaf produktif berbasis entrepreneur atau berbasis wirausaha. Jadi apa yang kami kembangkan memang untuk mendukung para pengusaha, terutama pengusaha Muslim, dan hasil dari laba yang dibukukan oleh para pengusaha ataupun dari usaha kami salurkan kepada social services masyarakat yang membutuhkan.
Okay, I think
kami siap disurvei untuk lebih lanjut jika memang memungkinkan dan kami ready untuk dilihat lokasi. Terima kasih.
Baik Bapak Ibu. Bapak Ibu peserta, kami kira despite the enthusiasm, I'm afraid that we have to end the Q&A session. Setelah ini seperti yang tadi telah disampaikan oleh Mr. Ala, untuk form akan kita bagikan kepada para peserta. I would like to thank all Nazir institutions and APIF for the fruitful discussion and consultation. Kepada Bapak Ibu yang pertanyaannya belum terjawab, nanti akan kami teruskan kepada para narasumber untuk dijawab secara tertulis, dan nanti insya Allah jawabannya akan kami teruskan kembali kepada Bapak Ibu. Oke, apabila terdapat pertanyaan lebih lanjut, Bapak Ibu dapat berkorespondensi secara langsung kepada APIF melalui kontak yang ada di layar sebagai berikut. Okay, maybe now we have finally reached the end of our event. Workshop on opportunities of productive Awqaf financing, the side event of G20 Presidency 2022, and part of Road to 9th Indonesia Sharia Economic Festival 2022. Terima kasih kami ucapkan atas kehadiran dan diskusi yang bermanfaat dari Bapak Ibu sekalian. Once again, thank you to Mr. Syed Muhammad Asim Raza as our speaker, as well as Mr. Ala Owaid for addressing understanding about APIF program for participants today. Thank you.
So much. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, and inshallah, we will do jointly the development of Awqaf in Indonesia. Please do send all the proposals to us on our email address, and we will respond accordingly, inshallah. Okay?
Yes. And I would like also to thank you from my side, and really it was very interesting event, and there is a lot of potential projects and opportunities. Hopefully, inshallah, IDB and APIF, represented by APIF, can really help Awqaf in Indonesia to develop more projects, inshallah.
Okay. Thank you once again for sharing your time with us. Hopefully it was a great and informative discussion for you and of course to us all. Bersama ini, saya mewakili panitia menutup agenda pada hari ini. Sampai jumpa di agenda kami berikutnya, dan semoga kegiatan pada hari ini dapat berkontribusi secara nyata bagi perkembangan wakaf di Indonesia. Demikian, saya tutup acara ini. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.